I was
It's
gonna
all
bring it
for
up.
me?
Yep.
All right, okay.
Hey, I'll have you look at that.
Well, we might as well call it order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call?
Scott?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Stan?
Yes.
Steve? Bill?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes. Okay, any discussion, approval of minutes? Everybody had a chance to read those? We have, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second it.
Scott?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce? Stan?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
He's gonna walk off with it.
Oh.
Okay, any discussion and approval of the financial report, Scott, you got your?
Yeah, I got information here, payment listing, I went through all that stuff, and we spent, $52,809.77 this month. And we have, bank reconciliation, we have $1,421,909.67. And looking at the paperwork on the revenue status and the appropriation status, we're tracking well, we're all of the ones looking good yet, so there's no issues there as well.
Anybody got any questions, or
Pass this.
if not, we need a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll second it. And here, I'll let you guys, this is, you guys can sign that then too.
Rob?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Joyce? Stan?
Yes.
Okay, anybody here for public comment? Okay. Reports from committees, you just gave the finance, budget, and audit report, Scott, so, police, Brandon?
One citation, 8 warnings, 1 driving under suspension ticket, which went to Tiffin Municipal Court, 3 adult complaints, and 1 agency assist. On behalf of the Bettsville Police Department, I'd like to congratulate Jared Linden. He got a full-time position with the city of Tiffin, so he'll be leaving us, I believe his last day will be the 21st of May. He'll be starting there. I attended the Cannon Encounter Law Enforcement Training yesterday in Woodville. Gave some good options, which I got a CD with PowerPoints to bring back to the officers, just how to read dogs and other ideas other than lethal force against dogs, so that'll be helpful to them. Currently, I'm looking to fill part-time positions. I do have an applicant, Michael Showman Jr., who's a full-time officer in the village of Green Springs, who would be available to work mainly weekends. And I'm looking for council approval to, I have plenty of vacancies and he's willing to do the weekends, which is one of the most important parts, I think, for the village. So I'm looking to fill that vacancy with him and looking for your approval to hire him. Pay rate would be the same as we agreed upon, starting at $9 an hour and moving up based on performance and evaluations. Also currently holding other interviews to fill other part-time vacancies, as obviously Jared's going to be leaving us and Brittany will be leaving us probably around July. So I'm looking to fill those positions and have a couple applicants to consider, hopefully for next council meeting for possible approval. Officer Linden will be attending the Respect for Law Enforcement Luncheon at the Tiffin Optimist Club on the 12th. I'm unable to go, so he's going to go in our place to represent the village for us. Other than that, that's my report. I was, just wanted to see if we had any other discussion or any thoughts on the semi-ordinance that was presented last council meeting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna probably discuss that a little bit more, and just
Okay.
understand what our options are, because I mean, we had some
Since
good
Rick
discussion
wasn't there, too.
last week, but I think we still gotta do a little more.
Okay.
Investigation,
Also-
understand how we do this, and we gotta talk to Rick and all those things, what our options are.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do, so.
Also, on the mayor's court issue, I didn't know if you guys had thought any more about that, or we could discuss that as well.
What is you guys' opinion, or we need to discuss it more and see what?
I think we need to discuss it more about, I'm leaning towards his view,
Yeah, so am I. I'm learning towards it, but I'm not just gonna,
I think we need to analyze some of this stuff a little bit more, make good decisions about all these things, because everything we make, it impacts a lot of different people, so we gotta figure out how best to do this, so. So, I agree with that. I guess,
You want us to
make a
give
motion.
you the
I would like a
permission
motion.
to hire him?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Again, he's a full-time officer in the village of Greensmith, he's been there for over a year. He'd be filling in mostly weekends as he works full-time 4 to midnight in the village of Green Springs, Monday through Friday. So he'd be available the weekend hours and early mornings, afternoons to when the kids get out of school.
What was his name?
Michael Showman Jr.
Well, I'll make a motion to
W-M-A-N?
give Brandon the,
SOW, yep.
I'll second it.
give you the motion to, or make a motion so that you can hire him.
Okay.
Because we need to, I guess we got this transition going with Bethany going and everybody, so we gotta get some people in line here.
Yeah.
And then plus we got the park coming up, we got all this stuff coming up, so we gotta make sure we got some
Yeah.
people here, so.
Rob seconded it.
Scott,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yep.
Stan,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Okay, you got her, Brendan.
Thank you.
Good kid.
Okay, Steve's not here, so we got fire report. Had 10 calls for the month, yearly total is 34 calls. Truck 64 is to have its annual ladder testing done this month. Still waiting on a decision about old gear to donate or to throw away. Attached, you will find a copy of a quote for the new JAWS system. Passed out to everybody, but Bill, I guess. I am recommending that we okay the purchase of $25,050 for this. I am scheduling a date late May for us to demo the units before purchase. After the demo, the units will be purchased. Firefighter 1 class is wrapping up this month. We have a group of cabins to burn this summer and would like to invite the council members to come out and see. The dates haven't been set yet as we are waiting for permit. The dates will be relayed to council when they have been set. If any member would like to feel the heat program, please contact me. The department held its annual safety driving class in April with 8 members attending. And, oh,
So
I do
you
have an
wanna-
extra copy here, Bill.
Yeah, give it time.
Gary, you wanna do a motion to either throw it away or donate the things
I think we need a motion to
Oh, to
donate them.
donate,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll make a motion to donate them.
to donate?
I think that's make them have a use for them.
Yeah,
Throw away.
if they have somebody to donate them to, if they don't, then it'll be throwaway.
And my question, I think, was last meeting, I didn't know that if there was out of service, if they was to be used for someplace else, that's what my question was. So we don't have any liabilities, is what I'm saying. If we give it away to somebody, there's no liability, right?
Yeah, Linda?
My thought was that fire department that caught fire and lost everything, would that be a
In Eden?
in Eden? Maybe they could use
As long as their organization or whatever allows them to accept it and stuff.
They said they thought they was covered by mostly insurance, so they should be okay, but,
okay.
I mean, it's good to offer it to them anyhow, so.
So I need a second to donate.
I will.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Stan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay, did you seen on the back attached here is what he wants to purchase?
guess the question is, would this come from the fire fund or the general
We said
fund?
would like to see the increase in the contract might be approved and moved into the fire equipment line. Between the increases in this year's levy money, it will be used for the purchase. Which he's talking about the increased money that we got from Liberty. It goes for fire anyhow.
Mhm.
How much
It
was
can't be
that?
spent,
How much was that?
$25,000,
but,
$50,000.
no, the increase was
The
what?
increase?
A couple, it was increased a couple thousand.
Yeah, it wasn't like maybe 6,000. I got it now. I don't see what excess.
You didn't put it in, oh, we haven't got it yet.
And you won't get it all at once, will you?
No, it's in two payments, I think.
Right,
Does that have to be paid up front?
well, that's a good
This?
question, cause I'm looking at the levy, and you don't have that money in there.
No, but we haven't got it yet.
No, I'm looking at his fire levy, he doesn't have that money. Page 5.
Look like text again.
There's a center.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's blind as hell, I guess.
Yeah, right now, you don't have enough to get it. We got 13,383.35.
When does that come in?
I'd have to check, I don't know the number.
Should come in twice a year with property taxes, shouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's where it comes in. So, I mean, he's gonna have that.
Well, even with the, I realize you're looking at the cash balance, but even with the appropriation, how much did he say that was?
25,050.
Yeah, you still don't have that for an appropriated amount.
So someone would.
And it's not just as simple as saying we'll throw that extra money in your budget line. Angela's gotta go to the auditor and get approval to increase the appropriation. I mean, it's not just changing a number in a computer.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
So I think you should sit down and talk with them.
Well, yeah, we'll have to.
Or just table it for right now?
I will.
We'll have to.
I don't have the money. You don't have the money. How many things does he have listed on that? Is like a power unit?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, you want a copy?
1, 2,
Nope.
3, 4, 5, 6.
There's 6 different things.
6 line items.
6 line items.
Oh, so he could knock a couple things off there and get himself back in the budget.
Yeah. So you would think that you're gonna,
If he just took the RAM out of there, he could, get himself back in the budget.
so and that's when you have discussion with, so we figure out, where we go from there.
Right.
Are these pieces interchangeable? You just buy one piece at a time, or does it all come in one big lump, or?
No, he could purchase the RAM separate.
Yeah.
Basically, he needs spreaders, cutters, and the hydraulic unit, and the hoses to go with it.
Then he can add on to it.
So he could get the the RAM and the accessory kit to go with it at a later date, which is 39.
Over $4,000 there.
Okay. Sound great there, Joyce.
Really.
Any other things on fire right now? If not, we'll clean up, Joyce.
Yeah, I sent out 5 letters and I got 5 responses. And 4 did really, really, really good. And 1 has just a couple more things to clean up and I'll get on him again too, so. And then I got another list here of stuff that I'm working on.
Okay. Any questions for Joyce? Or if any of you go out and see anything that she
Yeah.
thinks that she might miss, why just give Joyce a call. Just get him up. Okay, water, sewer, street, Jen?
Street, you've got that later on. Water, not a whole lot going on with that. We do have someone from the EPA coming to draw samples out of our wells. It's some monitoring system program that the EPA has for themselves.
Right.
And being we're doing it, they give us free stuff, free samples. Sewer plant, I just wanna give everybody a heads up. Beings with the deal that went on in Toledo last year, they've really, we just got our new permit, and they've really cut back on the phosphorus levels, output. And normally we're running between 3 and 4 parts per million, and they've lowered it to 1.
Wow.
So we're gonna get violations, there's no doubt about it. We don't really know how we're gonna cut that back.
Well, because it's not generated from the plant, is it?
No,
No.
No.
it's
a lot
in
of
your
comment.
shampoo, your bar of soap, there's
Right.
phosphorus in
Right.
everything.
Right.
So I don't really, Dave is trying to find out what we can do to lower them levels, and basically, they give you a nasty gram. It's not like it's a major issue, but it doesn't look good, so, I mean, we'll just have to wait to see what they can come up with.
Well, they have to find it realistic, I mean, you have to look at your base ground, or
Well,
baseline, kind of where you're at, with the water coming in, and where, you know, how you.
I would say they're probably trying to get their ducks in a row before they go after agriculture.
Right.
They gotta make sure all their plants are in line, so nobody can come back and say that the issue is within themselves, but.
Right.
They've done it to every small plant that's received their permits this year, so.
Yeah. And I'm seeing the plant too, and I always do the plant as well, so I understand where you're coming from, so.
That's all I
What we got? Okay. Park, you got something to bring up, Brittany?
Not really, just been mowing grass, just trying to get everything cleaned up. I was gonna ask you, this Thursday or maybe next Thursday, if you're free, if we could get the Crossway guys out there to rake up all the leaves around the beach area,
Yeah, I have that in the plans to
the
do.
fences, and
to
then
do
the
this week.
ball diamonds. You guys did a good job getting all the sticks. I got the ones left in the camping area last night. I'm gonna mow that, once I get the camping area mowed. The park has been mowed 1 time, but I have to mow everything all over again, cause the grass is about 4 inches tall. And the
Yeah,
area
it's
I
Really
first
grew
mowed.
this
Yeah,
weekend.
it's-
Yeah,
yeah,
I
with
can't
this-
keep up with it, but I'm trying.
Well, we're gonna have to get more people to do it, that's all
Yeah.
there is.
I probably have close to 30 hours out there mowing now. In the 3 weeks I've
Oh,
mowed,
yeah,
I've
I believe that.
easily 30 hours mowing.
Oh, that's easy, yeah.
So, that's,
I wanna
just trying to
get,
get things,
a Saturday for village cleanup as far as the park, help get
This-
volunteers, but this Saturday it's supposed to rain, so I don't know.
yeah.
I don't,
I won't be here the following Saturday, I'll be gone on vacation, so, and Saturday after that I'll be gone. So,
what about your grass growing?
someone else is gonna have to take over from there.
Excuse us, yeah.
The other thing is, I would like to form a committee for the 4th of July. If we're still gonna have the fireworks and plan on having the fireworks out there, I think we should form a committee, try to get other vendors out there. Not so much like people are gonna be using electricity, but just other activities. Maybe like someone to come out and do face painting for the kids or something, and just try to make it nice and presentable, and we can go out there and get places, the local greenhouses, to donate flowers to plant in the flower beds and stuff. And And if anybody knows anybody who wants to pull weeds out of flower beds, we have a lot.
We're noticed that.
What are you looking at me for?
Well, we all need to get out there and do some things ourselves too.
Yeah.
The flower beds that the kids put tires in, they spray painted the tires, so I don't know what we wanna do there. They kinda look trashy now since all the spray paint's washed away. I thought about getting some kind of outdoor paint and repainting them, but it's just gonna wash off the tire again, so I don't know what we wanna do with them. But there's a lot of grass. in
Yeah, I've
that. If we
seen
could
those.
they put
Yeah.
plastic bags down, but it's just growing right up through it, so.
Is it possible to get a list of everything that needs to be done, and maybe we can make a sign-up sheet of who wants to do what, or try to
It's
find
possible.
volunteers?
Sure.
It'd be easier if we know what, like, you can go out and say, all right, this needs to be done, we can make a list of things, and then we can maybe,
Don't get mad
Get
when it's
people to-
too long.
well, we can get people to sign up for specific things, you know?
Yeah, I can do that. I can have that done by the end of the week. Other than that, I don't really have anything since we're not doing swimming and stuff. I mean, if we can get the leaves raked up around, I'm gonna try to go out and drag the beach, just so we can keep the sand somewhat nice and presentable, and get
Yeah,
the sticks that are on the beach cleaned up.
We're talking about that while we're on the park though. The gym teacher wants to have track and field day at the park on the 13th and the 15th of May. And a rain date on the 13th would be the 14th, and a rain date on the 15th would be, I think it's the 17th or 18th, whatever.
It'd be 18th.
18th.
18th would be Monday.
Yeah. And so we'll need the bathrooms opened up and the field mowed for kickball and the sand loose for the long jump. They
She's
said
not
you did
gonna
that
be
last
here.
year.
I won't be here. I leave the 13th at like around 8 o'clock in the morning for Pennsylvania.
What, just show me what you listening, they think it's by the shuffleboard court, ain't it, for the long jump or something? They said you did it last year, you loosened up some sand for them. No? Okay.
I mean, I can get the drag out and where the volleyball is, where all our sand area is, I can loosen the sand all up, but we didn't have field day out there. I mean, they did, but they used the grassy area behind the softball field, in
Well, she
between the
just
orange
said
shelter
that, she
house,
said that you did, I don't know, I'm just saying what she texted me.
you know.
This is the Old Fort School, what they're
Yeah.
sponsoring, correct me?
Yeah, well, it's
It's a
just,
field
it's
day
the
for the
third and
elementary
fourth
school.
grade's gonna be on the
Oh.
13th, and the fifth and sixth
The
is
end
gonna
of
be
school
on the
year. Okay.
15th.
Well, it's good to get them out there.
Yeah, at least to
engaged.
get out there,
Maybe that'll help us move forward and try to save the
Get
park
them
some
out there to clean.
yeah, well, get them
I was
out
gonna say,
there
that would be
to
perfect.
help
That'd be
us,
perfect.
help
Take
us
them out
and
there.
then help
I can exercise
with the
with it.
park a little
Yeah,
bit
we have a
too.
whole week off of school. Come out and clean the park and we can use it.
So I wanted to bring that up under the park, so.
What about no swimming signs and all that stuff? So
We gotta be getting those
That's
made
up
up,
to
yeah.
or whatever, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people out there, not swimming, fishing and stuff like that, and people using boats a lot more than I've noticed in the past, so we need to get signs posted.
We can do that, but we're gonna, for the swimming part, we have to get the signs up. Now, especially now that we're gonna have the gates open. We did put 2 porta potties out there most of the time, unless the shelter houses are rented or something like that, or something's going on, why, we'll keep the bathrooms closed, cause you're not gonna have, I mean, somebody's gotta be out there all the time watching them, if not,
Yeah, they'll be breaking on, having all the mess
Yeah.
out there.
you know. So we're gonna have to keep our eye on that, so,
But the water is back on.
yeah.
They able to drink out of it, the things?
Not yet.
Okay,
The sample went in today, we'll know by Friday.
okay. I had one lady ask me about it.
But the bathrooms can be used.
Okay.
Zoning, Scott?
Yeah, I did go down on Seneca Street, look at the fence and all that stuff, so, I mean, I think that kinda goes back, wasn't we have a dog issue with him as well, and that's what that fence is probably to contain the dogs?
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kinda, but it's way within the property line, so
Right.
it's not an issue as far as I can see, I mean, I think he was trying to solve the other issue with the dogs, sit down over the lorries, and everybody else is causing all kinds of issues, if I remember right, so. Like that, so.
I have something on zoning. Do we currently have any ordinance on domestic or non-domesticated animals? Do we have any ordinance? Somebody was asking me about chickens, and I said, I'll ask if we currently have an ordinance.
We don't have an
I know we
ordinance.
talked about
We
it.
talked about it, but we don't have an ordinance, because that was done when we nobody's having, like, you know, what one person was a pet versus what another one is a, you know,
I
farm
thought you
animal.
couldn't have like horses or cows or anything like that, remember, because they wanted to put them down here at John's, and they wouldn't let them, John Gerlin.
Down the barn down there.
Down there.
Yeah.
Why can't you? No, I'm just saying, you don't have anything to say anybody can't.
Yeah, I guess
Well, I
that's
thought
my
there was
question.
something
I'm
in
not sure
zoning
about
that you
the
couldn't.
Ohio basic
It wasn't
code.
zoning.
It may be in the Ohio basic code about some of the, greater farm animals, like cows or horses. But I think chickens are excluded from that.
They're only there at free range, right?
Well, and too, if some kids has got in 4-H and
Few chickens or
have
something.
a, well, goats, chickens, whatever, I mean, for a fair project, but you can't really say no.
Yeah.
You guys can start ordinance, so the other
Yeah.
villages have.
Attica's just gonna target roosters,
Yeah,
because they
for the morning.
they make a little bit of noise. Of course, that means you have no cockfighting though, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, you can't mind that way.
That should be a monkey wrench in
So you gotta be careful, once you start though, letting people have this and that, and then first thing you know, something else is gonna come in, and
We
something
were
else, and.
asked several months ago whether or not we would allow somebody to raise rabbits.
Right.
That's, and we talked about how we excluded bee farming in town.
Yeah.
And we started going down that path, can you allow agricultural, as pets, we're not gonna, that was what we said back then, we're not gonna give away somebody having pets. But having agriculture in town is something we were following on. I think that's the right thing to do. You can't tell one person you can raise this, one person you can't raise that,
Right,
but for profit.
right.
So right now, there's really nothing stopping anyone from having.
Because we really have the same issue right now with the dogs down there behind the bar there. I mean, he's got, I don't know, a zillion of damn things now.
17 last
17.
I knew.
17, he had licenses for 20.
Oh, so he's
I
got
already
room.
called about it, you know,
There's a parking dog ordinance
Yeah.
in basic code.
and she said as long as he has a license for every one of them, she can't do anything. But if you have more than 3 or 4, wouldn't it be a kennel? Don't you have to have a kennel license?
And if you got
Yeah.
a license for everyone.
Well, if he's selling them,
Well, I mean, one time I saw
May not
him.
be, sales must not be very good.
I thought they changed that
Well,
law.
Oh, well, they may have.
It's just like if you go out to Ballville. Ballville has regulations
I don't know, I
and
haven't
that
seen it
townships.
since.
You're allowed one pet.
Never ran into it.
And I think that's things over
And
there.
that's part of their
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we should look into
I
this.
think we should have that.
We've been talking about this
Then we
for
got
2
some
years,
sort of
Jerry. We've
thing
never
to go
done
by.
so.
You don't just need to make a decision and ask me what you're
I'm
writing.
tired of doing
I guess maybe some recommendations, which, how we write it and how specific it is. I mean, is it specific to,
Just
like
how
a
many
kennel?
animals you don't want.
Oh,
Or what numbers.
Yeah, we got.
Are you thinking there might be a state law or ordinance about chickens in a municipality?
No,
Not
not
in
about.
municipality.
Not in
So he goes across.
So if that would be the Ohio basic code, so if we want something regarding chickens, roosters, or pink flamingos, then we'd have to write a separate ordinance.
But there is something about agriculture, like cows and
Yes.
There
sheep
is
and
that.
horses and.
Yeah.
You got it there?
See, the larger farm animals are in the basic code, but the chickens aren't necessarily. I mean, there's the part of the ordinance that would cover some of the problems would be about, about odors and things like that, but if you keep chickens clean, there are no odors. If you want good eggs, and good eggs. So,
It says
or,
poultry.
so usually the only problem with the fowl or the roosters, I think, is with the turkey or.
Oh, that's just a definition.
But it's whatever you all decide.
Right, but that telling me that that's a problem.
If you were asking, I'm keeping out of it also because I love it when I go to the Philippines and everybody has a rooster.
Right.
Or cockfighting. I just love that. And so, but if you all don't like them, then most people
I think we
around here
approach it
don't.
kind of like what Rob's saying, I think we look at it as a farm, if it becomes a farming or agricultural thing where they're doing it for a profit, that's a different thing versus somebody having pets, because because like I said, some people like chickens and some people like
Or
cats, or
4-H.
whatever. For, like you say, for age or
4-H
whatever.
is usually.
A farm project, something like that, but we're talking about profit.
But if they're talking about,
Trying not to raise them.
What we
Yeah.
have in town.
for profit is.
Maybe that's how we look at it and see if that's the best way to approach it, because You wanna have some flexibility there because you don't wanna be too rigid, because then it's gonna come back and bite you. You wanna have, if somebody abuses it, then you gotta have some mechanism somehow to at least get the control back in.
Yeah, without worrying about whether or not
There's a
his
dog defecation.
grandfather did or anything,
Right.
because we didn't have anything to go.
Right.
But if you do it, just do it in 3 readings.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah,
because
yeah, we don't want to sign up
they,
days.
I'm sure they'll find somebody who will take it, but, I can bring in what I'm doing for Attica next month.
I think we need to have a look at
But all
how to
I'm doing
do
for
it.
them is roosters,
Yeah,
because they're making noise and waking up people there, for some reason they're crowing at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, that's a lot of fun for, but they're leaving the chickens alone.
They're not on daylight savings time yet.
I'll bring, do you want me to
Yeah.
write it up for
Yeah.
Bettsville?
Or not, well, just
Or you can add or subtract, or just say, isn't that?
I think maybe just bring in some.
bring
Well,
in your.
with my stuff, I usually have Attica in there anyway.
Well, I know you do. I guess what I'm saying, I think we look at some other options, how some other people are approaching it.
It's actually Green Springs
Yeah.
that's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I know one Republic wanted to get their monkeys, because they had somebody with a monkey.
Yeah.
They can be nasty, though, they can bite you. They
So can I
get
call it?
loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little dogs, too.
Yeah, funny dogs can do. Okay, okay, so next meeting, bring it, so
Yeah.
The
we get
rooster
something to-
ordinance.
And just, then we can kind of discuss on how to make it so
Yeah.
it makes sense. So
Makes
we
it
have a little bit of
very
height there, but
fair.
not some flexibility too. I don't want to get too rigid where you can't.
cause if you got some kids that,
Right.
you know, 4-H, you can't,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's silly to not let them do it,
And we just approach it as if it becomes a business, and that's a different issue.
yeah. Not raising chickens to sell eggs and all that.
So how do I handle my chicken budgets I got in my house? I got about 65 of them.
You wanna give them away, don't you? Okay, that'll wrap up zoning, okay, we'll go to old business. Got streets for paving, but like I said, John's gonna get, I think Craig was gonna, email him, or fax him a estimate on Union Street to mill it, fix it up right. See where we're at with that, see if we can go ahead with that. And we know we got the list of the other streets, but we'll go one at a time.
That one will be
See-
the biggest expense,
That'll
we're
be
gonna
the
try and
most
keep it
expensive.
under the bid price. So,
So we should be getting that back and we'll get with to do that. This Dellinger culvert, I talked to him the other day, he's gonna be here Monday and put the asphalt in and that, pave it in.
Okay.
So, going that way in there. Under old business again, income surveys, we ended up with a whole total of 69 out of all of them.
Yeah.
So we are gonna have to go house to house.
Okay.
All of us council people are gonna go and do it.
Okay.
So we go house to house, we'll put something out so that people know that we're gonna be coming in.
Okay.
And John will have to rerun the list and
No, I think-
cross off the ones that's already done it.
So we'll have like a list of.
We'll have a list and we'll each take streets and
Okay.
go that way, that's the best way to do it,
Okay, now we can get done. Okay.
yeah.
That's how we had to do it, remember,
Yeah,
Gary?
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
We
that.
did it before.
We did that before.
Yeah, I guess we make sure we get plain notice so everybody understands what we're up
Yeah.
to, so, I mean,
Yeah, and explain it that it is legit and we.
did you put that
really-
back on the
We
website?
really,
again?
really need it.
What's that?
The income survey, telling it, put that on there, we're gonna go house to house to get that information straightened out. So
Do you know when we're gonna start doing that?
okay.
Well, as soon as John gets the list around and that, we'll.
I'll wait to post it till we know,
Yeah,
that's okay.
that'll take me about an hour.
When does it have to be in? When do we have to have it in?
Well,
By April of next year.
Oh, okay.
I
because
mean,
we already
not-
missed
we
this
already
year.
missed our grant.
Oh, we missed
it
application,
this
so
year.
it don't matter.
Yeah, it's a shame, but we did.
Let me know.
Okay, next I have on there is our fireworks letter that we're sending out. Need your approval on this. It says, "Dear friends of the village of Bettsville, The annual Bettsville fireworks display will be held at dusk on Saturday, July 4th, 2015 at the HPL's Park with a rain date of Sunday, July 5th. Over the past years, we have been able to maintain a family-oriented event of the highest quality. However, we are asking for your support to keep this community tradition going and to ensure it continues as one of the best displays in our area. The cost of this year's event is approximately $14,000, which includes the fireworks, insurance, and licensing fees. Our volunteer members are licensed in pyrotechnics as a means to keep the cost as low as possible. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we thank you in advance for any amount you are able to give. Please mail any donation to the attention of Fireworks Donation to the address above, which is the Village of Bettsville, 308 Emma Street Complex, Bettsville, Ohio. Sincerely, Bettsville Village Council. Make checks payable to Village of Bettsville, and it's P.O. Box 505 Bettsville. Name and donation amount on there and that, and then they can find it. This is what we come up with for a letter, but I think, I don't know how it hits you, like, dear friends of the Village of Bettsville, because we would like, probably, we could send it out to other corporations and stuff too in the area too. I think maybe the Bettsville, I don't know if that should be changed a little bit, or
Potential friends.
donation friends, huh? What do you think on the wording for that? Because
Say that.
we gotta get them out
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, when do you plan to
Doesn't
send
say,
Uh, well, if we okay it, we can get them in the mail. We'll get them over to school, isn't that what we discussed? We take them, send them home with the kids, and then we'll get them mailed out too.
We'll put one on everybody's mail.
What did you, how'd you lead into it? What was the friends of the?
Dear friends of the Village of Bettsville,
Oh.
the annual Bettsville fireworks display will be held and so forth.
I'll also say that.
Well, we can leave it like that, we can still change it if we send it out
I
to
mean,
some other ones.
they could be corporate friends, I mean, doesn't
Yeah.
have to.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, just, I think it's all right, I think.
Is that wording okay for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need you to make a motion
Sounds
to,
good.
I'll make a motion to, accept the way the letter's written, and then we'll.
Have we already allocated the money? Either way, we're gonna do it.
yeah, oh, yeah, we're
Right.
gonna definitely do
Yeah.
it.
But we're just asking the village
To
residents.
help us,
Yeah.
No, this is for businesses, not for residents.
Oh, this isn't going to
I thought we was
residents?
going to the
Residents too.
residents too.
Oh, yeah.
We were sending the
I
stuff
thought it
home to
was-
the kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was just residents.
Well, no, but not just residents, it's mainly, it's businesses, but also, we thought it would encompass the Old Fort School District, so that it would get more than just the
Right.
city limits.
Right, I think we try that, see what happens. And if we get a few bucks, that helps, this offsets
Yeah,
some of it.
anything we get's gonna be okay.
I don't know.
Try to get them, try to get some of those people engaged, and then maybe there might be hope yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that some of these people that in the school district have partaken of the fire for years.
Okay,
So Scott made a motion, do I need a second? And then
Yeah.
everybody will- Scott?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Stan?
No.
Bill?
Yes.
okay. Anybody got anything else under old business? We'll go on to new business. Please approve magistrate court.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the next thing is a memorandum of agreement with Old Fort Bank. Scott, you have that?
Yeah, I have this here, and it's basically application for deposit of public funds, with the village of Bettsville to the Old Fort Bank, imposes a renewal application for deposit of public funds for the next 5 years, and 2 copies of memorandum of agreement. Our statement of conditions is also enclosed. Please read over the forms of memorandum agreement not signed, and the original memorandum agreement, and then turn envelope as soon as possible. So basically, we have to sign off on this thing, but it's basically what amounts to is that we, it's the public fund of the bank, so that they can put our funds in there, and so we have to do this because it's a public fund.
Could I look at it quick, please?
And we've always used
No forge here, so.
Old Fort Bank, and every 5 years we've renewed these
Yeah.
forever. So we're gonna have to have a motion to,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
okay, the scholarship findings. Here is
This was one of the things the auditors
wanted
us to do
you
before
to
the
do.
next audit.
Oh, we can back, we get these, yeah, no, copies,
No.
Oh, you don't, no, okay. It's the village of Bettsville has 2 private purpose trust funds. C.D. Grimes, $75,000 was received by the village of Bettsville on July 10th, 1981. Balance as of 4/27/15 is $84,006.02. All interest earned since 1981 has been given to worthy graduates of the Bettsville school system. Interest available for further distribution is $9,006.02. Because they only give interest away. And the other one was Grace Frankhauser. The village records show a balance of $47,900 in October 1974. Grace Frankhauser Trust was started in January 1964. A check was presented to the trust in the amount of $36,894.83 on January 15th, 1964. The trust was operated by the trustees of the Grace Frankhauser Trust until May 7th, 1974, when by resolution all assets were transferred to the village of Bettsville on September 30th, 1974. Trustee records show the checking accounting balance of $2,094.71 and a certificate of deposit of $47,900 transferred to the village of Bettsville. All interest earned since September 1974 has been given to worthy graduates of the Bettsville school system. Interest available for further distribution is $23,705.50. This information was obtained from the village of Bettsville records, trustees of the trust account records, and the Sandusky and Seneca County probate court records. Submitted by Larry Dunson, formal fiscal officer, village of Bettsville.
How much is it?
What they're passing around is what we found
Okay.
that showed it.
We got rolled up, or did we get?
For Sadie Grimes, interest available is $9,602, and for Frankhauser, it's $23,705.50.
Because we had to show,
Well,
we had to show proof to the auditors, like.
Yeah. That's what's been given over the years, right?
No, that's what's available.
Right now.
Well, then how come last year they only said you could have maybe like 1,000 or 1,500 or something like that?
Because we had to do all this research to find out
Where it was really at.
where it started.
Where it was at. Okay. But just because it's there doesn't mean we have to give it
Right,
back.
right,
Right.
Yeah, because it doesn't make much interest every year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
say now,
know.
yeah.
Cents.
Okay.
So what was the finding? I'm not really understanding.
Well, the auditors,
The auditors wanted to know a beginning balance of the trust, so we
And
didn't
we
have
couldn't
any
find it.
information.
Okay.
So we
Had to go back to the wills, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
through the courts and whatever. Once they get done. looking at, I'll need a motion that council agrees with the findings.
I've brought that up a couple times.
Can I get a copy of this, Andy, for the board? Okay.
Public comment was over.
Hey Gary, on that, what are they gonna do with the, since it used to be Bettsville School, the school graduates that got that, are they gonna then propose
We
that?
don't
Well,
know yet what.
Yeah,
what-
they kinda talking about giving it to a Bettsville
Bill,
kid.
but we don't, we gotta
I
find
mean,
out
it'd
who
be
they
all for
are.
school, but it'd be
When would you make the cutoff then? Cause eventually they're all gonna be 04 kids.
You're saying living in the village of Bettsville, right?
Yeah, a Bettsville resident.
That would be up to the trustees.
Yeah, they have to
It
make all
wouldn't
that
have
decision.
anything to do with these guys.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's their decision.
That's gonna be fun.
Yes, it's
I
school
think
system
the
I
and
just
most,
see-
resident
I- for the
village, that's
board-
the two different things.
for the board to most closely comply with the intent of the trust probably should be given to Bettsville kids.
Yeah.
And anybody within the former Bettsville school district not to look for. Because I think then you may be violating terms of the trust at some point, and that would be another issue.
Well, that's what we figured, but we didn't know how
How to
to
word it.
word it, yeah.
Hmm. Oh,
Okay, so since everybody's seen, I just need a
Yeah, I
motion
need to make a motion to accept the findings.
that you agree with them.
I agree with the findings.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
You did good.
He's doing good in
You
that,
did
eh?
good, didn't I?
Scott,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Stan,
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Also, you have another council member sign on this. There's the mayor and then the mayor's council and another council member needs to sign on that.
There's two copies too.
Two copies in there, so I signed it.
Sign.
There's a place you gotta sign it around.
Where?
On the first bottom, there should be another witness.
Okay. Now, we got a letter from Swicker Gas Company. Says Bettsville Village Council, dear members, the cost of gas to the Swicker Gas Company has decreased to the amount of 10 cents per CCF or $1 per MCF. The purchase gas cost recovery rate will therefore be decreased from 56 cents per CCF to 46 cents per CCF. This decrease will be effective with the bills due on May 15th. Oh, that's good news.
Like I said, I've been watching different terms and the price of them has really dropped.
And he says it's probably gonna happen again too,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so it's been injection wells, I mean, they really got, I think, going 2 feet extra they got in there, huge.
And we do have a letter from the Center County Auditor, Deputy Auditor actually, but The Seneca County Auditor's Office has contracted with Tyler Technologies to perform the 2017 county revaluation. This is a list of current field personnel who will be visiting each property within the county. If you have any questions or concerns, please call our office. Thank you, Kelly. And it's got like, Scott Parrish drives a 2014 Honda CRV Silver, and it's got a license plate number, cell phone number. We can put that stuff on our site.
It's already up there.
Oh, is it? Okay. And then Carl Radzia, or whatever, 2014 Fiat 500L red, an alternate vehicle with 2003 Pontiac Vibe Silver. And then Jody Renwan, 2008 Ford Edge Black, and it's got the license number and so on. So, it's already on our website, so, no questions on that. April wanted me to bring up about the county community-wide garage sale, which is Bettsville, Kansas, and Margoon. It's gonna be June 12th and 13th. That's a Friday and a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Any questions, call April Hall at 419-937-4552. I'll have a thing posted up here too. I got a letter here somewhere that we'll leave here to, people can tear stuff off the bottom of it. We're gonna get a console table, and donated by somebody. It's gonna, we might have to redo it a little bit, but, it'll be a nice table to put in here. This will be our contact chambers. Also, I would like, if you guys agree, to put new carpet down in here, so we look respectable. It looks nice. This is a commercial grade, carpet. I don't know if you've ever been in the Snyder's. They have this right as you walk in there. They've had it down ever since they opened this Snyder's, and you can't even tell it was wood. So it's been a long time. I have a estimate on it. It's 12 by 38.6. It'll be glued down. For an amount of $965.58. They have Snyder's to remove old glued down carpet and dispose of old. That's $124.74. And there's a 19-foot metal strip that goes across here. So that'll be gone, that'll be gone.
Oh, you talking about the cabinets we need them on?
Yeah, the cabinets are coming out.
Okay.
So the metal strip will go down on the front, like that one that's down there right now.
Oh, because, oh, okay, yeah.
That holds it place, and that'll be gone. And we'd like to get, what'd you say, 2 desks in here for him and Carolyn?
Yeah, cause this thing,
Yeah.
park,
That's bad.
I mean, it served its purpose. We bought it from Kevin Crown for a couple $100. I don't know how.
And the carpet is $1,128.32. But if it's gonna last, and it goes with the walls and everything, so I had Angela pick it out, but we couldn't come up with some
Oh, I
way
feel
to
better
put it.
about that.
Yeah. I think I need to do that.
Like, why do I have?
Should we make a motion?
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to
Money.
redecorate this place.
Well, it makes it look a little more professional.
Probably stickers.
Yeah.
I know.
All you need
If
is
we don't
a
get that table,
little
we'll
bit
use
of
those.
paper that you put on for picnic.
It's kind of a Bettsville motif.
Yeah.
That carpet's been there
Do I have a
since I
second?
was in EMT and
I'll
then,
second.
Joyce,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
And we would like to get rid of this safe over here, this big heavy duty safe and that. How do we have to dispose of it, Rick? Do we have to go to sealed bids or something to
What's
take
it
it?
worth?
I don't know, it's full of concrete, it's heavy sucker. It was upstairs of that building over there, when it was transportation. So it was,
I'm sure it's worth something.
or somebody, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. If you want to put it on Facebook
I
and,
just,
and
I have
put
no
both
idea what
sealed-
it's worth though.
I think we just do that, we get the fire trucks on, so we do the seal bids and then we, that's whatever, it is what it is, I mean. Probably you can't stick it in your regular house because it goes to the floor probably.
It's gotta weigh close to a ton.
Yeah, you know.
Well, we used your forklift to get it out over
I
there,
know.
and it almost took the awning and everything off with it. It was, we almost died. You gotta bring it in through the
Receive some
doors.
bids for it then.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's worth. Maybe it's worth something, maybe it's not worth anything.
you can't get anything for scrap for it because it's full of concrete.
It's gotta be worth
Well, that's the
something.
way they built the safe.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a wall.
They ain't gonna walk away from it with it.
They gotta make sure they get it out here without breaking up the floor.
Well, it's gotta be gone before we do the floor.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about the tile.
Yeah, you just put some sheet.
Well, that's just a laminate. We
Yeah.
put a piece of plywood down and get it across there.
Go across and you'll be right.
So who wants to make a motion? You said do what?
The first,
Seal bids on, I guess.
yeah, seal bids.
You know, some-
Is that what,
I'd
What are you gonna do?
I'd advertise it. I don't, I mean, what's it, I have no idea what
Well,
it's worth.
people, some
If it's
people
worth-
collect
if it's-
them things.
We almost died. You
Just
gotta bring it in through
Receive
the
some bids
doors.
for it then. I have no idea what it's worth, so
I think that's-
maybe,
I think that's probably.
maybe it's worth something, maybe it's not worth anything,
you
but
can't get
the,
anything for scrap for it because it's full of concrete.
Well, who did
it's
that?
gotta be worth
Well, that's the way
something.
they built the safe.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a wall.
They ain't
Just
gonna walk
somebody-
away from
Yeah.
with it.
They gotta make sure they get it out here without breaking up the floor on the layout though.
Well, it's
That-
gotta be gone before we do the floor.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about the tile over there. I
Yeah, you
mean,
just put some sheet metal
No,
down
it's
it.
just a laminate.
Yeah.
Put a piece of plywood down and get it across there.
Go across and you'll be all right.
So who wants to make a motion? You said do what?
The first,
Seal bids on, I guess.
yeah, seal bids.
Just, you know, some-
Is that what,
I'd
What are you gonna do?
I'd advertise it. I don't, I mean, what's it, I have no idea what
Well,
it's worth.
people, some
If it's
people
worth, if
collect
it's,
them things.
if it's valuable,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
because that'll tell you which way you really should go with the sale.
Google it.
Could be worth a lot, could be worth nothing.
Google it,
Google it.
Google it.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, there you go.
Sit it on the driveway, somebody will take it.
No, no.
I'll tell you what, anybody grabs and picks that
So-
up, you're not gonna mess
Somebody
with
should
it.
open it and see what's in there
Yeah,
first,
well,
right?
It's probably full of diamonds or something.
No, it ain't full of diamonds.
You guys get a combination. too,
Yeah,
right?
it's open, yeah, it's open, it's not locked.
Then you realize it's not worth it.
It's got, actually what it's got in is titles,
Really?
you know, that's all.
Yeah. Somebody may want it for a gun safe or something though, so,
Yeah, I guess you could use it for something like that.
Might not be big.
You wouldn't put anything but handguns in it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's small inside.
yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I guess I could put like comic books in there, right?
Yeah, all right.
Just gonna table it to next meeting.
Well, no, we won't table it, I think we oughta just go with it. Do we have to make a
He said he was
motion on
gonna
that?
put it,
If you're gonna sell it, I would make a motion and let somebody take it out, maybe, or
Well, if you're gonna do that, you gotta figure out a date for bids and all that stuff.
well, wasn't he just gonna put it on the,
I'm looking, I need to find some more information, all they got is antique ones, that's compared to what I'm seeing. I'll look at it.
800-pound safe?
800.
If you
Yeah,
can,
it's
if you
about a
can
ton.
carry it, you can have it.
It's 2,000 pounds,
Is it?
Sucker, man, that sucker is, it's huge. It isn't really that big, is it?
No,
Tiny.
Christ.
Trucking companies must have used to really make some money.
Hmm.
Wisconsin Transportation, trucking company.
Brandon, what's on the side?
The plate's on the back, Brandon, slide it out.
Just does for Nige Luck. You could probably call him and ask him, he's been doing it a long time. He might-
Actually, he's the one that figured out what a combination was for us.
He'd probably be the best person around here to.
So he's a
If
good
people pay the
stakeholder.
right price, we might give them the combination.
That's what I thought, call Nye.
See if he knows, he might know that.
I'm sure somebody would have a useful drive.
Yeah. Just put on there, have a safe for sale. If you're interested, come on by.
John, did you have something else on? No, you didn't have anything else to bring up.
Brandon did. He's
You
got two
did?
more issues.
You go.
What one Larry brought up?
Yeah.
Here's an iPad. I didn't know if you guys want to talk about the semi-ordinance.
No, we said we were gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Did you hear us earlier?
He wasn't paying attention?
Huh?
He wasn't paying attention?
He wasn't paying attention, yeah. We were gonna talk about it some more, but there's a couple other ideas we can come up with.
Do we need to, like, it's good to say we're gonna talk about it, but when? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about it now, or are we gonna talk
Yeah.
about it?
We can talk about it now.
I mean, I guess what are the concerns? Obviously, we don't wanna landlock people, which I understand that, but,
I wanna ask, what are we talking about?
I presented the idea for an ordinance about having the trucks stay on the state routes.
Have like truck routes.
Keep it off of our village streets. Most cities
It can be done.
most cities and municipalities have such ordinances, correct?
A lot do,
Okay.
not, I can't tell you
We
most.
wanted to talk to Ken
The city of Tiffin does,
about him and being together.
kind of.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I don't know.
The city of Foster does, we do have one about that. I know a lot of the Village of Republic did, because when I worked there, we had that. And the reason I brought it up was, we've had a lot of complaints about the stone trucks and things like that, obviously the damage to the roads.
Yeah.
So I presented kind of an ordinance, I don't know if anybody has a copy, I don't think they have a copy, but I will get it to you though.
if it'll help, I'll be willing to go to Oak Harbor and get a copy of what they've written up and take pictures of their street signs, because they've got a lot of signs that say different weights, different axles, all that stuff.
That's my only concern is, I mean, I think we gotta find a balance here, because I just wanna make sure that we get careful with commercial activity and all that stuff, so that we have access. I mean, we have challenges with the road and the safety issue, which you guys have concern about the kids and all that stuff, and I appreciate all that stuff too, but also I wanna make sure, like, my concern was the landline, like, for instance, up by the old park where, they got the trucking companies, where they got the truck coming out there, and I know them, and I don't know how it's gonna impact the town as far as money is going to the gas station, getting food and stuff like that, because I know some of those people do that stuff, so there's gonna be some cost for all those things, so I gotta be careful how we do stuff, because there's benefits, and there's things that are negatives too, so I don't know how best to handle all those things, and then, I know we talked about this a while back, and Rick had concerns about how do you do it, because, they have a right to commercial activity on these roads, so I don't know how how you find the balance between all those things, because I know, like you said, you go to Oak Harbor or whatever, and they have dedicated truck routes or whatever, but I guess, what Rick was alluding to is how do you get the traffic through, and how do you find that balance? You know
They've
what I'm saying?
also got 4 major highways going through.
I think it's
Oak
like
Harbor and
Brandon
stuff.
said last month, that with all due respect to the companies involved, that's not our situation.
Yeah.
That's not our problem.
But it can be.
I think
It can be.
How? Why?
It can be.
Because I'm just saying, I'm just looking at economic impact, I'm just saying, I understand the safety issues and all that stuff, and I understand that part, but how does it impact the community
Gas
for taxes,
station,
gas and station, all that
you
stuff,
can
so
stop for
I just wanna be careful that anytime you make a call one way, there's always some kind of a consequence that you don't think about, so I just, I'm open, I just wanna make sure we talk about it and look at all the factors and make sure we make a good decision. Because I think safety is a big thing, because we worry about the kids going to school, that's a big thing. Then there's a concern about, turning off the road or whatever, so I guess the issue comes down to is there other solutions to some of those problems? I don't
Right
know.
now, no semis are allowed to park in the parking lot, are they?
No, there's a sign that says,
So if and when a truck stops to get a sandwich at the gas station, they park along the side and they tear the
Right.
heck out of that sidewalk. I don't know how many of them percentage-wise stop to get a sandwich, they might.
there's quite a few of them stop there for lunch,
So,
coming through,
But on
trying
the
to
other
get a
hand-
sandwich and back out. But I don't feel that we should be tolerating damaging village property at the same time.
Oh, I agree, I mean, yeah.
You
I had
know,
also
By
had been,
not saying anything,
Yeah.
we're allowing it to happen.
So,
I don't know if we should contact the county engineer and find out what their situation is, because I know they can't make the corner up there at 158, correct?
right,
Too sharp.
yeah, there's a bridge and everything, there's no way they can turn there,
Well,
so.
I don't think that they can, I'm sure they can. Does a township have an ordinance that says that they can't be on certain
Well,
roads
see,
out
but
there?
they've got signs,
So, I mean,
so what you're saying is if we close 61 to semis, we're gonna close Emma.
absolutely.
So
I mean,
then that
I-
guy, so where's that guy gonna go?
Well, he's got a reason, like you said, he's coming here for a purpose, that's where
Well,
he
okay, I'm
lives and
I'm
parks.
talking M and B too. I was
This
talking
would
to
just
some,
be for through trucks. This would be
Right.
not for trucks coming to
For-
deliver here, to deliver. You know,
Or run their business here like he does out there. I mean, that's a legitimate reason, I would think.
I mean, it would be because he's a through truck. He's not stopping anywhere. A through truck is a vehicle that's just driving through to get to
Right.
another place. A
Right.
truck that's delivering here, right, would be, you know, you're coming from point A and your point B is in the village.
Right.
You know, you're delivering something here if we order a big package or something, or delivering to a home, sometimes, you know, furniture.
But again, he's outside the village, so that really wouldn't affect him.
Yeah,
He would not be able to
You
come.
wouldn't be able to come through town.
yeah, he's traffic.
Oh, I was thinking coming past,
He would be a through truck.
I was thinking coming past.
Could they make the corner on
Tool and
Seneca
die.
Street?
Well, I mean,
They do. make
that's
corn-
gonna create the same issue though, 'cause
Yeah.
that,
But I
mean,
mean, they're not coming through the dense part of town, coming up over the tracks and things like that, and having to go through, you know, the more condensed part of town. If they went down Seneca Street, then we're kind of a happy medium, sort of, other than it's gonna ruin Seneca Street. But at least we're getting one thing and we're not having to worry about multiple points of entry and exit.
but of all the streets probably in town, this street's probably the one that was built the strongest because of the trucks.
Mhm.
For years, that was because of Crown, you know, I mean, that's just saying, so,
But it was just paved 2 years ago, we're getting dips in it.
yeah, and I understand.
And it's
so.
the most dense.
And I know they're probably hauling more weight now than they used to years ago too, because I know
Oh,
the trucks
sure.
are bigger and stuff like that too, but I think I go back, about a year ago, we had this kind of discussion on that whole thing, you had some issues too, about how we did that too, Rick, I mean, some about.
I was indicating we should be talking to the Ohio Department of Transportation and make sure we get approval for anything we do.
Right.
And then you, of course, you have to post it appropriately too with their approval. And so, we just wanna make sure that we don't do it the incorrect way.
Right.
So I would get approval from,
Now, is this just gonna be a safety issue or is this gonna be a money issue?
As in,
I think it's both.
Both, okay.
I think it's both.
All right. I was talking to some people the other day, they said that if you, and I wanna talk to you, John, about this. If you talk to Kenny, you're gonna talk to Kenny this week, Kenny Crable? That, if they can make a deal with M and B to keep up Union Street, if they would take care of Union Street.
See, I just talked to him this morning.
Well, yeah, but,
He ordered me about it.
yeah, but these other people hadn't told him yet.
Oh,
Okay. And if they would be willing to, you know, have the upkeep on Union Street, would that make a difference?
Make a
Up
lot
to
of
you guys. I
difference.
mean, yeah.
I think it'd make a lot of difference.
I think it would. I mean, we still have the safety concerns.
The thing of it is, you know, M and B, you know, they do a lot of business for us too, and we don't wanna cut off their nose to, you know, spite their face.
And a lot of their trucks now are not coming that way because
They
they shut
closed
down Millersville
Millersville.
over
They
here and
closed
and those stone trucks aren't running.
so maybe
but
it's not as much of a
it's-
concern as
No,
it had been.
no.
No, it is
no,
not.
no.
It's cut down a lot of trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up for you to
at one point, we called the Ohio State Patrol and said, hey, check out the weight limits.
Right, and we can always do that.
And they're the only ones who can really do that, but,
Correct.
so they,
And I have no problem doing that. I think a lot of it's, you know, the speed of making sure that they're stopping, which is in turn our job, but obviously we're not always there. And even if they do stop and stuff, you know, they're still doing damage to the property. So I think it is a fiscal issue and also a safety issue, so, I mean, that's only something you guys can decide. I'm just trying to,
Is there any other way to address any of the safety issues?
Well, yeah,
Yeah, I
I brought it up last year.
Yeah.
That if you look at Tiffin and you go by the old XL wire and cable, there's a school a full block away from 101, and there's school signs and flashing lights and everything else controlling traffic during school times.
Right.
We're half a block
Yeah.
from that road. And every morning, I'm on my way to work, I'm seeing tanker trucks come through there. And I'm seeing Spader from Clyde come over 34 and coming through town.
Had trouble with Spader,
And, you know, I understand you cut them off, you gotta cut off our homebrew people. And nobody wants, no, we're very reluctant to do that. But that doesn't mean that we can't make it a safer environment.
Right.
You know, we can make that, we have the power to make that a school zone, I would think. It's a city street, and we have a school within a half a block, and once we do, it needs to be enforced.
So we're already talking about like putting like flashing lights and stuff there, you think, Rob?
I'm talking about as simple as putting up, school zones,
Signs,
20-mile-an-hour speed limit,
Between times.
Very restricted
during
times.
restricted hours, and if they wanna come through there and bang those trucks up and down at 25 or 30 mile an hour, you know, you nail them. You know, and, you know, those drivers, they're human beings too.
All right.
You know, they got kids.
And they don't wanna get a ticket because
I'm sure they're aware of it,
Yeah.
but this'll remind them, there's kids around. And, for a few signs and ordinance, I don't think that's.
Well,
I think that might be good- that might-
approval though of the Ohio Department of Transportation, that's integral.
Oh, really, you have to get that for like
Yeah,
school
for
zone?
speed limits and school zones, you gotta get their approval.
Okay,
If you don't, then that's not valid.
Okay.
We can't change speed limits to anything we want.
right.
So we do have to get their approval.
Is there anything in the Ohio Basic Code to cover an area like that?
No, this is an issue where the state helps with the limits, sometimes sets limits. We just wanna make sure that there's not an out, because once you have a trucker involved, they pay insurance, we'll get lawyers in who'll go and check and make sure it was done correctly or not, and if it's not done correctly, then they'll say, oops, too bad, so sad, and then every trucker will know that. So you gotta do it correctly in the first place, which involves approval by the Ohio Department of Transportation out of Bowling Green.
So how do we start doing that?
We send them a letter saying, this is what we'd like to do, can you come out and do a survey? It may take them 6 months or so to come out and do a survey.
Well,
Well, I think
we've done it
start
last
down that
year, we'd had it done.
Yeah, well, I think we start down that path, and I'm just
Let's
saying,
go with it.
yeah, with that part of it, I'm okay with doing it, then, because my only concern, like I said, is just, you know, you gotta look at the economic impact too, because I mean, I know you have a concern with the trucks bouncing on the road, I mean, because I know it affects Stan and Steve and all them, because that's where they live at and all that stuff, and they hear more of the noise than I do, and I respect that, but I guess my concern is just how we do it correctly.
But once that's in place, and if we have certain people violate, and they know we're gonna enforce it, maybe they'll choose not to go through that route.
Right.
That there's a least path of resistance someplace else.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Cause it's not hard for them to go
And
out
it's a
and
win-win
take
for
them out
everyone.
in direction of 53. I mean, it's an inconvenience, but it's not, we're not landlocking them because they have several other points to go out that
Yeah.
direction.
But on the same token, I think like with them being at, if we can stay on good terms and try to take advantage
Oh, I
of the
think we
situation,
should stay on
so
good
that we can get more cost-effective paving and all that stuff, I think that would be a better overall approach,
Right.
because, you know, maybe we can get them to offset some of the costs or something, especially like at the intersection where they stop and they push the asphalt up or whatever.
But
Those
if they're
kind
not running the trucks to Millersville anymore, then.
Yeah, that might have been an issue too, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think
I mean,
they're not coming.
So
for
what happened,
somewhere.
what happened to Millersville? I
They
know,
closed it.
they closed the quarry?
The quarry.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did?
Yeah.
So why would they be interested in helping us out?
Well, I don't know if they will.
We don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know when they closed Millersville, but they still go by a lot of them by Union Street.
M&B?
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a job
It isn't
somewhere.
just M&B, there's the other guys from Alveda and all other
Yeah.
other
I
kinds
don't know
of
if they
places.
have a job, maybe they're going
They
to or
were
something.
working they were hauling stone to Millersville, but I haven't seen an Alveda truck in a while.
Really?
Yeah, 'cause they shut that down a little while,
really?
not a long time ago, but
Okay.
not,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
been
know.
long, and there is none of those trucks coming that way.
Okay.
'Cause it's done
So
closed.
that'd be a
They
big
even took
difference.
the scale out down there, so I don't think they're gonna put it back in commission very much. And
You got those tankers, and you got Spader Trucking,
Right.
and then you have the farm trucks, which you certainly ain't gonna limit them, I mean, that is a farming community. So,
Well, do you think that, once the 12's open back up, that it's shifted a little bit?
Spader comes across, cause it's a direct route right over Route 34, it cuts miles and miles off their driving if they're going to Finley or Foster.
Well, maybe we'll even
And all
talk to
we're
them.
saying, run through our town, stop eating our sandwiches, but go nice and slow.
Yeah.
And don't damage our street and don't hurt our kids, that's all we're saying, that's all I'm saying.
Right, and I'm okay with that, I mean, so maybe, I guess maybe look at having to do a survey, we'll write a letter and just do that, and just, so we can maybe.
can you write the letter, so the right?
Well, I'd want the help of the chief or John, because I don't know which streets are which.
Right.
I mean, you know, I
I understand.
the main drags I know, but
Yeah.
I don't know it like the back of my hand.
Right,
Yeah.
So, whatever areas that you're talking about is kind of what I need.
so I mean,
template
you have to
for.
like define like where the zone begins and ends and that kind of stuff, right?
Well, you were talking about school zone, Bettsville, I thought Bettsville school.
No, the elementary
It's
is,
all-
Oh, the elementary.
Here you are, have.
the elementary for Old Fort
Elementary.
and Bettsville both.
Is here.
Oh,
There's like
Yeah.
500 kids here.
Yeah, it's right
I
next
thought they
to
were
it.
closing shop and moving on.
No.
See, and I can't, I know where the school is, where you live.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
it.
Oh,
But
wow.
that's not the street, the street's
The
on
next
the
street over is-
See, and that's why I need help.
And the thing about it is,
I just speed through town as fast as I can.
Yeah.
just so you know, we have doubled the occupancy of that school since that happened.
Yeah.
Really?
We went from 155 to 300 kids.
Yeah,
Wow.
353 kids, I think there is.
353, yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Open
Oh,
up
yeah,
other
they're
thoughts.
using it.
I'm thinking too, if M&B is interested in talking about keeping up the road, maybe we should invite them to the next council meeting, so that, you know,
Well, if the chiefs looked into this, if you could indicate the roads, you know, get the little map of Bettsville and everything else that goes along with it, then we can send a letter to Bowling Green.
Am I correct in saying that a while back, and I think this is when you were mayor, Linda, didn't we contact Spader once before?
Yes, you
And
did,
they slowed down
For
and
a
changed
while,
all that.
yeah,
No
for a
pro-
while, for a couple
yeah,
months.
For a while.
yes,
And weren't they, had intention to help us out at one time?
at one time, and
But they
then,
never came, they
it
never
never
followed
came
through,
through.
so a letter to them may not hurt.
Yeah, that would be,
remember,
that would
we
be a
sent a
good
letter
idea.
to Spader and asked them to please go round or use 12 or 53, not
I've
use
been on this
Union
council
Street.
too long. Start out in the street.
No, we can do that. We can
Okay,
send a
well, I
letter.
guess that's what we gotta first start doing, then,
Yeah.
is get the
I
letter
appreciate it.
around and.
Yeah, at least, I mean, I think that's a
That's
more
a way
balanced
to
approach,
start, yeah.
because I'm just real cautious about, because anytime you do something like that, it's like, okay, what other impact, how's it gonna impact somebody else, and you don't think about some of those things, and I just wanna make sure that,
You
we-
always end up burning yourself.
yeah.
how about the idea of maybe sending a letter between now and next council meeting to Spader, M&B, some of the tanker trucks, and saying, we'd like your input at our next council meeting, because we may be considering
I'm
some
open to that,
changes.
you know, I'm
And
open to
invite them to come, so they can't say they were, you know,
Blindside.
blindsided.
At least it'll show them whether or not they're willing to work.
Maybe willing to pay for part of the baby too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
You never know.
I mean, we all know that financial impact hurts us, because we don't have much resources anyhow, and you just have something like that happen, it costs a lot of money to resolve those issues, so. Any help's appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So is there someone we can appoint to write a letter to those companies?
Yeah, well, sure. Does any of you guys wanna write it, or? We can get it,
I think you just make a
Okay.
phone letter, you figure out,
Yeah.
contact people and say what we're gonna do, and this, we're talking about this road, and we just send it to them. I just say, a simple letter, I think, and that's how we do it.
You
We
want me
need
to
to
write
do
it
it,
and
but
get
it
it
needs
to
to
you,
go on
Mary?
village
Huh?
You
letterhead.
want me to write it and get it to you?
I think we can get it done,
Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
yeah. Appreciate it
Just
though.
like I said, we just do the village letterhead, and say
Yeah.
this is, we're opposed, and looking at the cost impact and what our options are for Union Street, and approach it that way. Setting up a school zone, maybe saying we're gonna set up a school zone and all that stuff, that's what we're trying to do.
I'll do this, I'll write a draft
Okay,
and I'll send it to Angela and you guys can send it out. Cause it really needs to come from the head of the, I feel, on a village letterhead. But I'll
Okay.
do, then if you don't like something, feel free to change it.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it, Rob.
Alrighty. Right letter. Oops, I misspelled it, damn.
But you got spell check on the computer, right?
Yeah, but it don't, it only works if you push the button.
Okay. That one, what are you doing?
I guess, we don't have to do it tonight, but before the next council meeting, just amongst yourselves, think about the mayor's court thing and,
Yeah.
just weigh your options and determine.
What we're gonna do, yeah.
Okay. Did you wanna bring something up about the dogs? Oh, did you?
I'd like to comment about the Bettsville Magistrate Court, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead.
I got a chance to read through it. So I'm both the Tiffin Municipal Court prosecutor, and this is the last night court left, Mayor's Court. The rule is if for example, Fostoria could not open a Mayor's Court because there's a standing court there. The courts have combined. Court's been looking, a number of places have closed down the courts, and Linda, I have been involved in that also, and Republic was closed down. I've closed down Green Springs. Here's one issue, though, that people don't look at. As far as the number of tickets being written, that's a police department function. So, that's nothing to do with it. The costs, when I first came aboard, as far as, because it mentions me, so I'm right at the top. I said no cost because I'm the solicitor of Bettsville. I was coming here, I viewed it as part of my function. Tiffin Municipal Court, and I've covered for Bettsville there, as far as the cost, because normally what they do is they charge a minimal $15. And if you're only writing a few tickets, so be it. So that's not really an issue one way or another. But the no cost was because I was here, I was solicitor, I was going to do it as part of my function, so I come here basically, once a month just for night court. No big deal. And I'm glad but we shouldn't be talking about money being made or not being made, although it's minimal number of tickets to set this up. If you look at it from my personal interest, I don't have to come to Bettsville one more time a month, no big deal. Frees up a Wednesday evening. But at the same time, the cases will have to go to Tiffin. They can't go to Fostoria. The Fostoria prosecutors don't have jurisdiction in Liberty Township here. Okay? So it would have to go to Tiffin. And the thing that I'm concerned about is I get vociferous complaints, and I'll name from a village police department that writes tickets, and their part-time officers are subpoenaed to court, and they are vociferous in saying, well, I've got a full-time job, I just can't go. And I'm saying, too bad, so sad. It's in court, it's contested, you wrote the ticket, you have to appear. And the village has to pay not only for that officer to go to the case, but the officer has to be paid by the village to go there. And because of the number of complaints from one particular village police department, I'm sensitive. Understand, if there's a contested case, and there are hardly any because of the way I work it here, I'm fair with them. I get my promise. It's only been broken in the time I've been here 2 or 3 times. Just be careful going through Bettsville. Don't speed through here again. And except for 2 or 3 times, it's been abided by. The reason I'm able to keep it out of Tiffin Municipal Court, keep it here, I said pay the same fine. I'm not here to make your traffic record bad, to enrich the insurance companies. It'll be a broken taillight if it'll have to be. The cases will be contested in Tiffin Municipal Court because, as I tell them, and it's the truth, the judge will not allow those amendments to occur. It will have to go forward. And so every trucker you have, for example, we keep talking about truckers, and every other person who comes in steaming mad, they will have to have a court hearing if it's contested. So understand that that's the way it works. The reason why I've been able to keep them out of Tiffin Municipal Court is I can say, look, just be careful going through the village. It's worked. Okay? So be aware of that. I don't have that type of discretion in Tiffin Municipal Court. And you know, they've been happy here. And one of the kids who had like 2 in a row, you know, he knew, and it's like, but I haven't seen him for over a year. Good news. He's, you know, not a bad kid, but he was, you know, and he understood. I was disappointed that I saw him again. But there's very rarely that the same people go through with the same traffic offenses, including the people who are doing squeal and peels outside the police department, not during your tenure, but some of them were doing that on purpose, trying to raise a ruckus. But even that slowed down at one point. So be aware there is a cost. There is a cost. And for part-time police officers, when they sign up, they take the oath, they write the ticket, they are expected to show up at court. It has to be in Tiffin Municipal Court. And, you know, and I know it talks about the court personnel. I know the court wants more money. And not the money, but more numbers and statistics. Not that this is really going to be effective anywhere. Be aware. Is it advantageous to me if we don't have one? Sure. In more ways than one. Not only do I not have to make an extra trip up here, but understand every other village, they pay $15 per case. Now, if it's a criminal case, that's ridiculous, you know, because sometimes those end up in jury trials. And the reason is because the law says, well, there has to be sort of a contract. That's why you haven't seen one for a long time here, except when I get my assistants in. And even with my assistants, I just take all the Bettsville cases. But what you used to see before I came aboard was this person, including one from me, is an assistant solicitor for the village of Bettsville. And then the nominal amount, that gave us the ability to prosecute the cases as well. So it's something that will end up in Tiffin, just so you all know. But it makes no difference. People do get subpoenaed for court dates.
So if it's a criminal case with a jury trial.
Well, that's going to end up in court anyways, in Tiffin.
So all we're talking about is traffic.
But we're talking about traffic tickets, and those end up as court trials, but officers still get subpoenaed with those.
Right.
And most often the trials we have are with truckers, but also with people who are just mad and angry. No, I did stop at that stop sign, or, you know, I wasn't going that speed, or I didn't squeal and peel, or whatever.
What has to be done to change the jurisdiction of the court?
That's not gonna happen.
I mean, that wasn't brought up by their prosecutors or anyone else I spoke to. They made it sound like something.
Tiffin has Liberty Township. The prosecutor's office has this area.
Is that something set up by the state, or is, I mean, out in the zones, or how is that done?
Well, maybe there's a little bit of confusion, because it's now the Tiffin Fostoria Court, but the Fostoria, what we've done is each office, law director's office has said, okay, since it's a combined court, but sort of a circuit riding court, Tiffin's area, yeah, still remains the same, Fostoria still remains the same. But if we happen to get an arraignment that needs to be heard in Tiffin from Fostoria, we can go ahead and do that, or vice versa. But that's the extent of it.
Who made that decision?
The law directors and the politicians. And that's the way it is in Tiffin and Fostoria.
So if the law directors from either side.
The law directors and the ordinances are already set by council.
But if they were to be changed.
You'd have to get both
sides to change.
law departments to do that,
But it could be done.
possibly.
But is it worth all the effort? What you're saying
Not
is
likely.
Yeah.
It may be the desire of the people you're talking to. I know, obviously I know, I'm not mentioning names or anything else, but I know.
No, I understand what you mean. I mean, it's good information. I mean, any ticket that's contested.
And I just want this to be your decision.
Right, I understand all of them.
And I don't want you all to be a tool of whatever machinations are out there. I'm not saying you're doing anything, but I understand everything. And I'm a little more sensitive to it now since I get those complaints from one village, from part-time officers. It's like, look, if you write the tickets, you gotta show to court. It's that simple. And they didn't get it a number of times. It's like, it's going to continue. At some point, I'm gonna ask for somebody to be held in contempt if they don't show,
Which you absolutely.
as an officer, because that's their duty.
But that's
They have a
something-
full-time job, that's fine, then don't be a part-time
That's
officer.
that's something the police chief should be handling and questioning
Well-
when he hires people.
Well, if that were the view of the police chief. So,
I can't speak for him, but that's,
so
I
what,
can guarantee what happened.
I'm able to keep things happy here.
Right.
But, of course, you know, if there's only one ticket a month, that's a problem too.
And I'm not saying that won't pick up. I'm just, like I said, giving you the options, you guys make the decision.
I know
think
state routes are closed and
He
things
gave
like
good
that.
information of stuff maybe that I didn't even know, so that's why I'm glad, that's why I gave him a copy, so he could.
Once I saw my
Did
name
you
in
say-
here, I wanted to make a
Did you say,
comment.
did you say that Green Springs gave theirs up, didn't they?
Yeah, Green Springs has closed theirs down. Republic closed theirs. Attica decided not to go forward with one. They were thinking of creating one. So this is the last mayor's court in the county. But from my experience, it only took about 3 tickets to keep it going, because you're paying just the clerk and the magistrate.
Well, that's another thing we need to understand that. More food for thought now, I think, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
And however you decide, it's fine, but I want it to be your decision. And not because of temporary circumstances or
Right.
desires
A few people.
of people outside the community. I want it to be the chief's decision, to be your decision, that's fine.
What do you mean by the desires of, can you divulge what you're talking about? I don't understand, I guess.
I was wondering who that would be too.
I'm not saying who, I'm just,
I can say specifically, this is my idea and my idea alone. I approached other people to look into this. It wasn't, somebody came to me and said, hey, I think we should do this, if that's what this is about. I mean, this is my idea alone, and the only reason I did this was for fiscal responsibility, because of the production of citations, and again, that can change, it probably will change, especially when but I don't think that the amount is going to make the difference compared to the officer having to go to court at a 2-hour call-in minimum for a total of $20 at the most, compared to the amount of citations that would have to be wrote to make up the difference
But-
in that $5,000.
But Brandon, I think what he's saying, and this is, if you got a full-time job, moving someplace else, the risk is that if you have to keep doing your full-time job, that could put the officer in peril in his other job, so that's where he's coming from.
and
The
that
other issue-
influences ticket writing
You're right, it does,
decisions too.
and the other issue does, I mean, there is the dynamics that
Yeah.
you have to realistic, the
Yeah.
political end.
They won't write a ticket if they
Well,
think
no,
they gotta
but
go to
see,
court.
And Rick's right, I mean, if you look at the dynamics of the other organizations as far as how the jurisdictions are set up, that can be some challenging for all of us as well.
But that's only if it's a contested situation, right? If
But every ticket could be
Well,
contested if
see,
it.
what's
What's
normally,
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
here is the minor misdemeanors, traffic citations have not been contested here. I get a lot of people in here who are mad, and they sit down and they're angry, no, I didn't do this, or this, that, or the other thing. And then when I go through my spiel, they say, okay, that's fair. And my spiel is, okay, look, guys, I'm just looking for safety within the village. So this is what I can do for you here, this is what I cannot do for you in Tiffin Municipal Court, because the judge doesn't allow amendments. And that is, I can make it a parking ticket, but you gotta promise to drive safely, but you're gonna pay the same thing. What this does for you is this is how I'm talking to the defendants, is it's not just the points on your record you have to worry about, and the courts cannot say no points under the law. But you also have to look at moving violations, and if you have a moving violation, that can affect your insurance rates also.
So you
So
can make a
all I
speeding
will-
ticket a parking ticket?
Yes, I do. Here, and this is the only place I can do it. I can't do it because the court has the ability to say no elsewhere. But what I'd extract from them is the promise, but you've gotta understand this is a village. Anytime you come up to a group of homes, you're gonna figure the speed limit's gonna go down to 35 or 25, and there are kids on the street, they play right next to the road, and you can't go speeding through the town. And I also, you know, I'm vociferous when I explain that to them. You probably hear me through the door closed, because I get upset about kids possibly getting hurt and people going through what is basically a small subdivision like bats out of hell. Now, of course, sometimes and it's been rare when their speed has been excessive, I say, I just can't in good conscience give you that offer. Tough, and you know what, we can go to Tiffin Municipal Court too. But usually the tickets are for, you know, it's 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine is the general rule of thumb. Because at 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, you get 2 points or more.
Right.
9 under, you don't get any points typically, unless it's a, school zones are different. Just like passing a school bus is a different type of unclassified misdemeanor, punishable up to a $500 fine, yada, yada, yada. It used to be a mandatory $500 fine. So, once they hear that, and I say, you know, I know you want to tell me how you think the officer is wrong or has it in for you. And I said, you know, I'm not going to worry about the facts, because if you want to fight about that, that's fine. We'll go on down to Tiffin Municipal Court. That's fine with me. You're going to see me anyways, only I won't be able to amend anything. And then, you know, I'm going to have an officer testify to X, Y, and Z. And they say, this seems fair. And they go along with it. They go along with it. So, you know, before I'd have a line of people out there, and we'd go through and same spiel, or if we had 4 or 5, I'd bring them in all at once and say, okay, you know, looking at their tickets, this is what we're going to do, or it depends on how they would arrive. So I think it's been fair. And I know some people don't like tickets being amended. Some do. Obviously, the defendants do.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it myself here in the village in this context. I think, you know, and I don't blame the judge. You can't always be amending tickets in Tiffin Municipal Court for everything. But I think we have more local control this way. But that's okay. But I'm also just saying that if we are ending up in court, part-time officers are going to get subpoenaed for court. Or if they're not writing tickets, then the people aren't getting the lecture and they're not getting the penalty. And they're going to keep doing it also. So
You and Linda have run the magistrate courts for a while now, so just ballpark, out of the last 12 months, how many tickets out of 10 or what percentage have been contested, would you guess?
None,
Oh,
None?
none.
Well, I guess
people
that
don't-
would lead me
people
to
don't
go
con-
with what Brandon's saying.
People don't contest with my spiel the minor misdemeanor traffic citations.
You mean they have the chance to contest them after you give them your spiel?
Yeah, if they wish to have it contested, then I say that's fine, but this is going to be heard in Tiffin Municipal Court, and we'll set it up for an arraignment and a trial down there.
I mean, in your right mind, would you contest it if it was gonna go against your driving record versus a parking violation? I mean, I'd rather take the lesser of the 2 evils.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know that was a possibility.
No, it's
Could've
just
used that in
You
a
know,
Well-
it's come down to like a taillight,
Which is
an
not
equipment
really-
via.
Well, I
and
make
that's
it a
no
tail
point.
light. We probably have a higher number of taillight violations
we
in this
do.
village than anywhere else in the state.
If you look at our stats.
Exactly.
But that's how it's operated in the village. Prosecutorial discretion, it's allowed. What is the benefit to the village? We don't have people going down there, paying officers who work part-time or full-time. If you have your full-time officer down there, I mean, for the village, it's like all of a sudden they're coming down and they're delivering tickets. I said, why don't you just mail it right away? Why are you spending this time away from the village coming down here delivering a ticket that could have been mailed since you set it out for two weeks away for an arraignment? That's silly. Put it in the mail, it'll get to the clerk.
Yeah.
But I have officers from, well, so, I've gotten rid of plenty of magistrate courts. We can do it here. If you want to continue it, you can, but just understand.
I mean, you understand true cost.
It's
yeah.
set in Tiffin Municipal Court. The deal I gave was, I understand I'm coming up here, but when I'm no longer up here, I'm not, if they're in Tiffin Municipal Court, really I'm not acting as solicitor down there, I'm acting as prosecutor.
Right.
And the reason why I've taken all of them is because normally the other guy would get paid $15. So,
Okay, well, that gives us something to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, I see your point.
Be kinda, maybe next council meeting,
We'll make a decision.
make your decision of what you wanna do.
I'll try to do a cost, the amount of tickets that were wrote last year, how much it would cost if each one were contested for the officers pay to go up there in reference to how much it costs us to have magistrate courts with no contested
Also,
tickets.
from what I've seen is in the past year, because of the road construction, there have been
Which isn't a
far
good-
fewer tickets
And that's the
than
last
we've
2
ever
years,
seen.
it's been that way every summer,
Which-
where it's been,
Probably, it's slightly skewed because of that, but again, I instruct the officers not to be the speed trap or anything like that, and, I mean, as you can see from the stats, we give a lot of warnings, and ultimately that, deterrence is my main thing. As Rick said, when he gives his spiel to the defendant, hey, we just want you to slow down.
Right.
We're kinda doing that, you know, preemptively, I guess, on the street by giving a lot of warnings compared to tickets. Just so we don't get that name, and we're not in this business to make money with the police department, but traffic enforcement is, you know, an integral part of it.
Mhm.
We just gotta find that happy medium, and I think with the road closed, it has been hard to do that. But it's just all, to me, it's all cost. I think that's the only thing that we need to look at is the costs for each way of doing it.
Well, we gotta make sure that what is not in the discussion at all, at any point, so it doesn't turn into a 1983 civil rights violation, is that we are not in this to make money.
That's right.
So that
It's the
part
safety
should not be
part.
part of
It's the
any
safety part.
conversation.
Right.
The way I look at it, the police department is just like another asset that we take care of the fire department, whatever. It costs us money to operate those things, and it's part of our job to supply community safety, and that's what the police department does, you know, and then if they gotta write tickets or something like that, to do it, that's their job, but it's not, their function is to take care of community safety, and that's how we approach it.
If you need numbers from me, let me know.
Yeah.
I can get you numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the way I look at it, I don't think it's, you know,
Have you gotten any feedback from the villages that have closed down their courts, if they've regretted doing that? Because of the officers having to go into Tiffin or any other reason?
Not any regrets. I don't think, I no longer represent Republic, but I closed theirs down, but then again,
We close
They don't-
ours down.
yeah.
They don't have
Linda was part of that, but they maybe, I don't think they write, maybe they write one ticket a month.
For all the
And
villages.
from, versus what they used to write, so that's not an issue. My issue is really regarding the other village that decided not to go forward, but I know the chief there would love to have a mayor's court. And his complaint is his part-time officers being subpoenaed into Tiffin.
What do you think the percentage for all the villages of officers being, or tickets being contested? Out of all the citations that are wrote from all the other villages that come to your court, how often are they contested?
You gotta look at the number of tickets written according to each village and how they're, so the village I'm looking at as the example is the one that writes tickets.
Okay.
So they get once or twice a month, the part-time officer being subpoenaed in. And they're subpoenaed in because it's a short leash. They're getting subpoenaed in, and they're saying, you gotta appear next week or 2 weeks from now. And it's up to the defendant whether they waive time, and the defendants normally don't care about waiving time.
Right.
They wanna have their day in court. And so then the part-time officer, and that's the biggest issue I have.
Okay.
On that one village.
Right.
I mean, it depends, if you're from a village that doesn't write any tickets like Republic now, it's gone from 20 a month to 1 a month, you know, well, that's rarely contested.
okay, well, I think that's enough information that you all
Yeah.
can think on what you wanna do, and we'll make a decision next month.
Sounds good.
It's okay with you guys.
Sorry to hold you.
No, it's not a problem. Is there any other old business to bring up? Any new business? Okay, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Was that
Sure.
just that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion here.
Second. Want me to second?
Second adjourn.
Okay.